What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into Rover Sports. I got to give Kirk Cousins a lot of credit for his performance today. 4 touchdowns, over 400 yards throwing the ball. He hit at Stephon Diggs for some 60-yard touchdowns today. He threw 3 touchdowns, I think, to Stephon Diggs. Diggs had an incredible game today, 160 yards receiving today. So, Kirk Cousins, he is making the 7th most amount of money in the NFL as a quarterback. He is number 7 on the list. You have Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, and Russell Wilson. Yes, Russell Wilson's better. Big Ben Roethlisberger's still getting overpaid, and he's hurt. And he's all right. He had Antonio Brown. He played in a really weak division where Kirk Cousins doesn't. You can argue Kirk is better. I'm definitely taking Kirk Cousins over Jared Goff. I've never been a Jared Goff fan. You guys have known this since you've watched this channel. And Jared Goff today, what did he throw for 100 yards? I know he's made a Super Bowl, but that is more because I think Todd Gurley's great. I believe that defense is very good. Goff can still be a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. And maybe you could argue Goff against the Saints was absolutely spectacular, or Goff wins these big-time games. But I believe, too, that the preparation that Sean McVay does is better than what Kevin Stefanski and John DeFilippo are doing. And also, there's a difference between Les Snead, Sam Kroenke, and Kirk Cousins was just in Washington, and Kirk Cousins did an outstanding job in Washington. So the offensive line is better for the Rams, and the offensive line's not as good as Minnesota. It's actually been bad. So now you finally see, and also Todd Gurley's a Hall of Fame back, or Todd Gurley is very close to being a Hall of Fame back. He's had a dominant 5-year run in this league where he's been the best running back in football. At least the last 2 years, he's been a top 5 running back ever since he's came into the league. He's that good and talented. You also have a couple of tight ends, and you also have a very, very educated coach that is putting you in positions where you don't have to audible and stuff. So I'd argue Kirk is better. Kirk Cousins and Jimmy Garoppolo, similar, but I'll still take Jimmy G. What is Jimmy G? 13-2 now as a starting level quarterback. That is tremendous. So Jimmy Garoppolo could very well be extremely, extremely special. The price tag is good. And Matt Stafford is making the same amount of money, Jimmy G and Stafford. And it's not like it's not like Stafford is out there beating the best of the best. He chokes in big games just like Kirk Cousins. Stafford has more talent. Kirk Cousins is a more dynamic passer. Now, you could argue if Stafford had Thielen and Diggs, that is a decent argument, but they're very similar, I believe. Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins, I believe Cousins has been better over the totality of his career than Derek Carr. I really do. You then have Breeze and Brady, which are better, but then you look down the list, and then Cousins is maybe a top 10 quarterback. I mean, you have Mahomes, you have your Mahomes, you have your Deshaun Watsons, your Baker Mayfields, the great young quarterbacks in this league, especially Mahomes and Watson. You have Tom Brady. I'll still take Kirk Cousins over Phillip Rivers, but Kirk Cousins is right up there in the top 10 quarterbacks. He's right up there with Josh Allen, right up there with, Kyle Allen is probably hovering around the top 15 in terms of quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, he outdueled today. Wentz holds on to the ball too long. Wentz is more talented, but Kirk Cousins, I'm telling you guys, Kirk Cousins can make a playoff run this year. Kirk Cousins is better than Trubisky. I don't care that Trubisky's beating him head-to-head. That defense of Chicago's elite. They're just getting used to Stefanski and their offensive coordinator. I believe Minnesota's going to beat Chicago when Chicago comes back. So Kirk Cousins, damn near a top 12 quarterback in football. You're paying him the 7th most amount of money. You know that Dak Prescott's going to end up making more money than Kirk Cousins. Whoever is up against, whoever's going to be signed next is going to be making that much money, just like Jared Goff is making the 3rd most money. So the people that complain about Kirk Cousins, would you rather be Tennessee and have Mariota? Do you want to have Jameis Winston? Do you want to have Jacoby Brissett as a quarterback or a Gardner Minshew as a quarterback? quarterback maybe, or Kyle Allen. Kirk Cousins is right up there. He is just above average. That's Kirk Cousins. He's above average quarterback, just above average. He either is just above average or he is better than average, or some days he's very average or bad. So he's just above average as a quarterback. But where else are you finding these quarterbacks? You know, because Dak Prescott's lined up to get the next most amount of money. Drew Brees is older. Tom Brady is older. So who are you drafting exactly? Or do you want Daniel Jones, Dwayne Haskins, Fitzpatrick, Carr, Phillip Rivers, the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh right now? He's maybe even more efficient than Josh Allen and Sam Darnold at this point in his career. So he's not getting overpaid. He's the seventh highest paid quarterback. He's right up there with Garoppolo and Stafford. So he's right up there in the top 10 or in terms of getting paid, and the rookies are not making the money. So Deshaun Watson on the open market, when he is going to get paid, he will be getting more money than Kirk Cousins. He'll be getting more money than Cousins when he is available. So Cousins today was terrific. The offensive scheme was beautiful by Kevin Stefanski. And they murdered the Eagles, and they killed it. And Dalvin Cook was very good. And the Vikings defense is a top 7 defense, which the top 3 are great, but when you're top 7, you're right up there in that B+ territory of defense. And remember, they've played the Raiders. They've played the Bears, so 2 teams that are not that dynamic on the offensive side of the football. They've played the Falcons that are really struggling right now. So, yeah, Kirk Cousins has played the Giants, and yes, but against bad teams, he's a shoo-in. He's going to perform, and he performed very well. He's performing up to his pay grade, and we're seeing Kirk Cousins kind of get back the gunslinger mentality of throwing the ball all over the field, hitting explosive plays, and not being Kirk Cousins was very decisive, and he's not being nervous. He's not holding on to the ball, and you want to see a quarterback see it and let it go. That's what you want. You know, when you're in the season, it's not time for you to be thinking. He's played in this league longer, and now he's reacting, and he's getting some reassurance in his abilities, and he's playing a good brand of football. So the point is about Kirk Cousins. Jared Goff is making way too much money, okay? How about that, Jared Goff? How about Big Ben? How about Russell Wilson? We all complain about Kirk Cousins' contract, but he's right there with the Staffords. He's right there with a Jimmy Garoppolo that has an amazing team around him. He's right there with a Derek Carr. Right there with a Derek Carr. Ryan, Wentz, Rodgers, and Goff. And Wilson and Roethlisberger are making way more money. Kirk Cousins is right there in the top 12 of quarterbacks, right there. And his salary is exactly where it should be. And for the Minnesota Vikings, you have a quarterback. The grass isn't greener. You have a quarterback that can win some games. I believe he can win playoff games if he continues to play at this level. And they have to win the division, get a home field advantage. No quarterback's going to be perfect, okay? Even Drew Brees has only been the one Super Bowl. So it's damn hard. There's only going to be 2 teams representing in the Super Bowl. Even making the playoffs, there's only 6 teams from each conference. So 18 out of the 30 teams don't even make the playoffs. So for the Minnesota Vikings, you have a top 12 quarterback. You should enjoy Kirk Cousins. I know Kirk Cousins can frustrate you, and he can put weeks like this, and then in a couple weeks he can go out and not perform very well. But Kirk Cousins, when you look at the totality of the work, he's pretty good. And he needs the defense to help him out. Remember that Rams game last year, if the defense helps him out, Kirk Cousins can be even that much more special. You need the defense to ball out, okay? When you have a top 12 quarterback, if you're going to be special, you need the defense to play. You need the defense to play for you.